So let's see what are the questions and what are the answers. Okay. Okay. So let's start. Mark Schenbaum is asking, any suggestions regarding the Oracle database connection pooling? So Mark, there are there are recommendations. In fact, there is one blog I wrote some time back on what are the best practices that you want to follow when you're when you're configuring the connection pool. So let me see whether I can find it. If not, we have to see how we can get it to you. So okay, so I have to do a little more digging to find what it is. See, but let me share one tip, right? One effective tip. See, you don't want to configure. You don't want to configure round robin algorithm. You don't want to configure round robin algorithm for your connection pool. The reason being because when you configure round robin algorithm, that means when a first request comes, I'm going to take the first connection and then it's going to be given to that requester. So using the connection, I'm going to making a call to the backend system and then the query is executed. Now, a second request comes. I'm going to take a next connection in the pool. So I'm going to make that call. Next request comes, third connection. So like this, I go on a round robin. I make a call. But friends, the problem with the round robin is that means even if there's a very low traffic, let's say even during a night time or when you're off peak traffic, even the very low time, all the connections are going to be utilized. So the connections will be always active. So say suppose you set your ideal time, a connection ideal time as 5 minutes. That means that will never happen, even when there is a low traffic, because always the connection is going to be active. That means if the connections are not going to die down, even during a low traffic volume period, that means the backend system of record, the Oracle database, is going to be overwhelmed. Because if you're going to have multiple JVMs running, and all of them are going to maintain all the connections active, whether it's high traffic period or low traffic period, that means you're going to put a lot of stress on the Oracle database side. So one tip that I want to share is, there is more, but one tip is don't use round robin algorithm, rather use least used connections algorithm that keeps a minimal number of connections active in the connection pool. Okay. Now I'm moving on to the next question. Kalpesh Shah, how do you check the connection stats? Yes, just using the netstat. Yes, Kalpesh, you can just use the netstat. Netstat is good enough to tell you this. Okay. And Pritham Kumat says, how to check the TCP/IP connection states and where to check. So Pritham, you can use the netstat command, or you can use this this YC360 script, which internally executes netstat and get the results and presents you in one single place. Okay. And Sunil K says, in 1 hour test, we recollect thread dumps every 5 minutes. The thread date should be calculated for the last thread dump. So, Sunil, it is impressive to see you're collecting thread dumps every 5 minutes. See, in this case, what you want to do is, see, you are going very granular. In this case, you don't want to say, let me show you. See, in that case, what you want to do is, if you use our Ycrash tool, it analyzes, you can upload, say, in 1 hour test, you're collecting every 5 minutes, let's say. Now you upload, that means you're going to get in 1 hour, you're going to get 2 tests. That means you're going to have 12 dumps with you. You can zip all the 12 dumps and then you can upload it to the tool. You can either you can upload it to this Ycrash tool, or you can use this fast. And when you do that, what's going to happen is the tool, if you analyze at 12 dumps, here is an example where it was done with the 3 dumps, right? So there is individual reports are going to show up. But here there is also going to be a comparative summary. So this comparative summary shows you what is the thread states across them, what is the trend going on. And then what is the thread pool? So you can see the trend happening in this comparative summary. So this is the way for you to look at it. That is, take all the dumps, zip them up and upload. So then look at this trending, what's going on. Okay. So next. So Pradeep is saying, is script is safe to use in production? My concern is if you run the script while it is running. No. So Pradeep, it's a good concern. So Pradeep concern is it safe to use this script in production? Pradeep, there is an English proverb or American proverb which says, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, right? If the pudding is very good, it gets eaten quickly. So similarly, this open source script is used in major enterprises. Several major organizations, they use it in production. And you don't have to believe my word, but look at this. This script, look what it is capturing. It's capturing a garbage collection log, which is already written into the disk. So for thread dump is the only thing it is for thread dump and heap substitute. This is the only thing for which it's touching the JVM. That too, thread dump adds very minimal overhead. If you even see one of our friend is saying he's capturing every 5 minutes, which is a good practice. So this doesn't add that much overhead. But if you see all others are only kernel commands like top, ps, top dashes, netstart, all kernel commands. What is the overhead is going to add? And then another thing, application log is already written in the disk. So that's very, very minimal overhead. But you don't have to believe my words. Here there is a blog post that which shares what is the overhead. In fact, let's look into this GitHub. Here in this GitHub script, what is the overhead of running this script? It adds almost negligible overhead, right? It adds like CPU is like this, right? Very, very negligible, 0.05%, right? Memory usage is this is what it is. Okay. Okay. So now, yes. So Pritham, this YC360 script can be deployed in multiple platforms, right? So here, if you see, you can run it in the Docker, in the Kubernetes, OpenShift, or in general. Yeah, you can do. Like EC2 install is a very common typical use case, right? You can follow what's given here in this docs.ycrash.io, and then you can go ahead and deploy. Okay, so next is when application gets slow performance. I've checked long running queries. There's no query executing long time or no ICP. Then what could be the issue there? So Pandishwari, this is a very broad question. A question is, the application is having a slow performance, but you check for long running query. There's no long running query is executing, and there is also CPU is not high. Then what could be the issues? Pandishwari, there could be so many things, right? Let me tell a few of them. What if your thread is getting blocked, right? In this example, like what I was showing earlier, when the thread is getting blocked like this, say this thread acquired the lock and it did not release the lock, due to which other threads are coming and they're piling up. In this case, the CPU is not going to be high. The database is not going to show because the thread has acquired the lock and did not release it. This is one reason. The other reason could be, what if there's a garbage collection pause? Like say in this example, a garbage collection is taking like a 14 seconds pause. 14 seconds. CPU is not CPU goes high at that moment and drops down. SQL query is not going to be there. Like this, there could be several reasons. That's why running this 360-degree data, which does a 360-degree scan, can tell you the root cause of what's going on. Okay. So Pradeep Kumar, you mean to say GC pause time is high, it's a concern? If yes, what can Pradeep's question is, if GC pause time is high, is it a concern? If yes, what can be done? Pradeep, 100% this is a concern. Because if GC pause time and GC pauses, when GC runs, your application does not run. When GC runs, your application does not run. So if a GC is taking 14 seconds, 15 seconds to complete, at that time, no customer transaction is going to be processed. If your customer says, oh, your application was running fine, but it didn't respond all of a sudden, and then later it started to respond, most likely the garbage collection is running in the background. right? How to go about improving the GC tuning? See, Pradeep, you can enroll into that online JVM training program, which the link was shared. So there we go into extensive details on how to go about optimizing the GC performance. Okay. Okay. Now the next question from Paul Lewandowski. A better timing when to run is the first 10 minutes after the test starts to reach a steady state. The last one might be test ends. Okay, Paul, yes, very good point. You're most welcome to do. Okay, so what Paul is saying is the best time to run the script might be after 10 minutes, once traffic has run, and then trigger it so that I get the data, and then after the test ends. You're most welcome to do. Okay. Now the JAGS says, yeah, it is true. Most people are not aware of the GC algorithms. JAG, I agree with you. Okay, so JAG, another question from him. Do we need to take a dump before starting the test in order to compare? Jag, I wouldn't say it is needed. You don't need to take this dump before the test, right? But rather, you should have collected with your baseline, your previous release, and then compare. In fact, just I'm sidestepping here. The tool has this compare report capability, right? So, what do I mean by this is, say here there's a compare report capability. Here I can compare the previous release. I can compare previous release metrics and the new release metrics side by side. All the 360-degree metrics, I can look at it side by side. Oh, GC throughput, look at this. In the previous release and now it is almost consistent, right? Object creation rate, it's consistent. The GCB is, so I can look at this. How is my threads behavior? What are my different objects in the baseline and benchmark? They're consistent. Look at the network. How many connections were there before? Oh, now I'm starting to see a lot more connections in timed wait, 226 timed wait connections. Previously, there were only 23. I have to look at it. Why? Right? So like this, you can do this comparison side by side. Okay. So the Pavan Kishore asks, I believe the heap space should be divided into young generation, old generation, meta space. The ratio is 1:2:1. Am I correct or purely depend on the application? So Pavan, Pawan's question is how the heap space should be divided in between young generation, old generation, meta space. The ratio is 1:2:1. So Pawan, it actually depends from application to application, right? But in general, the default is there is a ratio in between the young and the old is 2:1. That is the old generation occupies like 66% and young generation occupies 33%. There's no default for the default for metaspace is a very large size. So, but your sizing, you're saying you're saying young generation metaspace should be 1:1 or should be of equal size. No, I don't think you need to allocate that much for metaspace. You shouldn't allocate that much. Okay, so Ravi says in case of OM, JVM does not crashes immediately when it actually does. So Ravi, I'm not sure whether I fully understand the question. When out of memory happens, the JVM does not crash. It can still keep running. See, friends, actually, I would like to say out of memory error is a good thing, right? Why I say out of memory error is a good thing. Friends, let me ask you a question. When our body contracts any virus, right? We get fever. We get fever. Is fever good or bad? I would say fever is good because fever elevates my body temperature so that my body fights with the newly virus that got into my body. So it's a self-defense mechanism. So fever is a way for the body to fight with the virus. So fever is a good. Virus is bad. Similarly, out of memory error is a self-defensive mechanism of the JVM. Because look at it, there is a rogue thread which is constantly keep on creating objects in memory. So it is building up so many objects in memory. So now JVM is not able to handle. Now JVM sees this. Now JVM is going to slap the thread with out of memory error. So the thread will stop its execution so that it can continue to progress. Right? Okay. So Now, Thomas Deek is saying recommendation for DB connection pool problems. Check with JConsole MBeans. It shows how many connections are borrowed. Yes, he is giving a good recommendations to monitor at real time how much is borrowed, and based on it, you can come up with the sizing. Yes, thank you, Thomas. Good recommendation. Best practice to collect thread dumps when application is alerting ICP. How frequently you need to collect? So Pradeep is asking what is the best practice when to trigger this data capturing, right? Pradeep, that is a little bit involved subject. Maybe something we can table it as a separate a webinar topic by itself. Okay. So now Simon is asking a question. In my case, the database connection pool reaches the max 90 and all other threads have to wait and spiking. However, it eventually can return to normal 5 dB connection. Either network or database hiccup issue. Simon, it is a good point what you're asking. Saying max 90 and all threads have to wait and spiking. And it returns back to 5. Yeah, so Simon, this can happen because of either of the reason, right? Because there could be a slow running query, so the connections are occupied. So that could be one. Other reason is maybe are we closing the connections properly? See, sometimes if you don't close the connection, there's a database connection pool setting called ideal connection timeout that has to kick in to close. Maybe if you're configured as a high value, like a 2 minutes, 5 minutes, it's taking time to kick in and then close. Or it could be also a network issue, right? Okay. Okay. So next question, the Sendil is asking, I faced a out of memory issue with the Oracle OS, but the same Java code did not have an error in CentOS. What could be the reason between the OSs? Sendil, it is, see, Sendil, actually, there is 9 different types of out of memory errors. It is not, even though at surface level it looks like a one out of memory error, there is actually 9 different types of out of memory errors. So, so we have to first understand what type of out of memory error you are getting. See, yeah, let me share that link. See, here is it. There is actually 9 different types. First question, now I'll ask you, which type of out of memory error did you get? Whether it's heap space, GC overhead. Based on that only I can tell, right? It's a very generalized question. Let me put this in the chat so you can investigate it. Yeah, I think Anya has already put. Okay. Okay, friends. So, friends, thank you everyone for.
Ram, you have missed question number 12, Kalpesh's question.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Anya, for prompting. Kalpesh, question number 12. Is there any subscription for uploading the zip file created by Vice? Yes. So, Kalpesh, this GitHub script, the script to capture, that is open source. There is no licensing. But if you want to analyze that, yes, there is a subscription, there's a licensing cost. But you don't have to buy that tool. You can just analyze it manually if you want to. But if you want to do analyzed with the tool, yes, that needs a licensing cost. Okay. Okay then. Thank you guys. Then we'll wrap up this month's monthly webinar. Thank you everyone. Bye guys.